Every so often, a player arrives who makes the entire basketball world stop and ask, are we watching the next all-time great or the next big disappointment? That's the question swirling around Cooper Flagg, the first overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. He's not just another hyped prospect. He's the story of high school, college, and now the pros. But is he really as good as everyone says? Or is a bust looming like we've seen with top picks before? Remember, not every number one selection turns into LeBron James. Some end up like Anthony Bennett or Kwame Brown. Will Cooper Flagg be remembered as a superstar or simply a bust?
Here and there to turn the L's into W's. Right down the lane for the slam.
Cooper Flagg was born in Newport, Maine. His parents were ballers too. His dad played in college, and his mum was a standout at the University of Maine. Basketball's basically in his DNA. And from the time he was in middle school, everyone could see he was different. He was bigger, faster, and just flat out better than everyone else on the court. By the time he got to Nokomis Regional High School, he was putting up video game numbers. Over 20 points, 10 boards, and 3 blocks a game. He wasn't just stat padding against weak teams. He led Nokomis to its first ever state championship, dominating on both ends. He was throwing down huge dunks, pinning shots off the glass, and playing with an intensity that had people comparing him to a young Kevin Garnett. But Cooper knew he needed more competition if he wanted to reach his full potential. So he took his talents to Montverde Academy in Florida, you know, the basketball factory that produced guys like Ben Simmons, Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes. The list goes on. It was there he started going toe-to-toe with the best high school players in the country every single day. And instead of backing down, he thrived. By the time he was a senior, he was the #1 recruit in the entire country. No one was even close. Every scouting service agreed. This kid was special. And let's be real, if it weren't for the NBA's age rule, he would have gone straight from Montverde to the pros and still been a top pick. But since he had to spend a year somewhere, he chose Duke. And that's where things went from impressive to downright ridiculous. At Duke, Flagg averaged 19 points, nearly 8 rebounds, more than 4 assists, almost 2 blocks, and nearly 2 steals per game. Let me say that again. He was putting up NBA-level stats in college against top competition. His efficiency was off the charts. He shot 38% from 3. On high volume, was a monster in transition, and even created his own shot in isolation. NBA scouts were drooling. They said his instincts on defense were some of the best they'd ever seen in a teenager. So when the 2025 NBA draft came around, there was zero debate. Cooper Flagg was the undisputed #1 pick. Everyone knew he was the guy you could build your franchise around for the next decade or more. The kind of player who can carry your team out of the basement and make you relevant overnight. Let's talk about his physical tools. Flagg is listed at 6 feet 9 inches with a 7 feet 1 inch wingspan. That's ideal size for a modern forward. Tall enough to play the 4 or even the small ball 5, but quick enough to guard wings. His length makes him a nightmare for opposing shooters, and his vertical leap lets him meet guys at the rim like it's nothing. But what really makes him stand out is his defense. Cooper Flagg is already one of the best shot blockers outside the NBA. His timing is insane. He doesn't just swat shots for highlights. He stays disciplined, rotates perfectly, and forces opponents to think twice about even going into the paint. And he's not just a rim protector. He switches onto guards, moves his feet like a guard himself, and knows exactly when to jump passing lanes. Defense this advanced just doesn't happen with 18-year-olds. It's like he's playing chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers. On offense, it's the same story. He can score from anywhere. He's a legitimate 3-level scorer. Knockdown threes off the catch or pull-up, mid-range fadeaways that remind you of old-school Kobe, and creative finishes at the rim using either hand. His handle is tight for his size, with slick crossovers and spin moves to blow by defenders. He's not just a finisher either. His passing vision is next level. He can grab a rebound, push the ball himself, and find an open shooter on the other side of the court in one motion. And then there's the motor. Cooper Flagg plays hard. Every possession, every game. He dives on the floor, takes charges, and gets in teammates' faces to keep the energy up. He's the type of guy who makes everyone else better simply by being on the court. Coaches rave about him, teammates love him, and fans can't get enough of his highlights. But let's be fair, nobody's perfect, and Flagg does have weaknesses. His handle can get loose when he's pressured by elite defenders. Think guys like Drew Holiday or Marcus Smart. When forced to create in a crowd, he sometimes tries to make the hero pass and turns it over. Physically, he's not yet as strong as some grown men in the NBA. Big burly forwards can knock him off his spot, especially when fighting for post position or rebounding in traffic. These aren't fatal flaws, but they're areas he'll need to work on, and he knows it. That's the thing about Cooper Flagg. He's obsessed with getting better. Stories about his work ethic are already legendary. He watches hours of film, he's the last one out of the gym, and he asks coaches endless questions about the tiniest details. Instead of brushing off criticism, he embraces it. That mindset is a huge reason scouts think he'll reach his ceiling. Speaking of ceilings, how high is his? Cooper Flagg shows flashes of Kevin Garnett's defensive mindset and the versatility of two-way forwards like Paul George. But scouts emphasize that he's his own player, still early in his development. The truth? He's got potential, but he's carving his own path. He might end up as skilled offensively as KG, as versatile defensively as PG, and perhaps more competitive than either of them. The scary part? He might be even better than both if everything comes together. If you want cold, hard numbers, check this out. Flagg's advanced metrics at Duke were through the roof. His box plus-minus was +14, which means Duke outscored opponents by over 14 points per 100 possessions when he was on the floor. His true shooting percentage was 60%, and his defensive rating was among the best in college basketball. When you combine those stats with the eye test, it's pretty clear. He's not just hype, he's historically good. You also can't ignore what he did on the biggest stages. At the Nike Hoop Summit, the world's best high school players face off, putting his full skill set on display against elite competition. His ability to shine in high-pressure moments suggests he's ready for the biggest stages. He doesn't run from the moment, he lives for it. Cooper Flagg was selected first overall by the Dallas Mavericks, making him the first ever #1 pick from Maine. Dallas is reshaping its roster after trading Luka Doncic, and Cooper Flagg steps into a team featuring veterans like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. His versatile defense, floor spacing potential, and high basketball IQ give Dallas a dynamic piece to build around for the future. What does his NBA future look like? There's no doubt he'll need time to adjust. Like most rookies, he'll have nights where he looks unstoppable and others where he struggles. But by year 3 or 4, it's easy to see him as an all-star, maybe even a franchise player who leads a contender deep into the playoffs. His floor is incredibly high because even if he never becomes a 25-point scorer, he'll still be a game-changing defender and rebounder. And his ceiling? Multiple All-NBA teams, Defensive Player of the Year awards, and yes, the ability to be the best player on a championship team. The best part is that Cooper Flagg doesn't need to score to dominate a game. He can block shots, grab boards, run the floor, and make the right passes. That's what makes him perfect for today's NBA, an era built around versatility, switching, and spacing. He's tailor-made for it. Some people worry that all this hype will derail him, like we've seen with past prospects. But Flagg seems different. He doesn't chase social media clout. He doesn't care about highlights for likes. He wants to win. He's grounded, humble, and focused. Everything you want from a future superstar. For basketball fans, Flagg is pure excitement, a reason to believe your favorite team could have a brighter future. For NBA executives, he's the rare prospect who can change the trajectory of an entire franchise. And for the game of basketball itself, he's a breath of fresh air, a player who plays the right way, competes at the highest level, and pushes everyone around him to be better. In the end, how good is Cooper Flagg? Simply put, he's as good as advertised, maybe even better. He's got the size, skill, defense, and mentality to become one of the best players of his generation. His weaknesses are minor and fixable. His motor is unmatched, and his love for the game is obvious every time he steps on the floor. If he develops as expected, Flagg could help the Mavericks stay competitive in the West and lay the foundation for a new era. But what do you think? Will Cooper Flagg become Rookie of the Year, a future All-Star, or MVP? Or could the hype prove too much? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, press like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next one. Thanks for watching.